Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, agents. I am Mounty Carl, and this is a new Let's Talk on Gun Brothers Gaming. Today's discussion is going to revisit some comments that I had made earlier that people disagreed with, and they messaged me and said, "Hey, Mounty Carl, we disagree with you, and here's why." And they displayed the facts in a very appropriate and respectful manner, and I looked at them, I revisited them, we had a nice discussion, and I may have changed my mind about certain aspects of the game. So, let's discuss this tonight. On our way. Alright, agents, we are in the final home stretch for the 1.2 release of Clear Sky, and I wanted to revisit a few items that I had changed my mind on, that I had discussed in the last videos, and kind of discuss them with you right now. Most certainly, the first thing that I want to discuss is Clear Sky, the incursion already. I went back, and one of my viewers, I'll put his name in the description, I went back and watched the Twitch playthrough of Clear Sky, and I have to say that I was not disappointed. It looks like a full mission and something that the player community will get behind and be happy with. It's not a complete dump like Falcon Lost. It will be interesting to see if there are any glitches or exploits that people find in the first week. It seems pretty big, and so while my fears of this being Falcon Lost 2.0 have gone, I am still going to reserve judgment until we actually get to play it ourselves, we find the glitches within it, and we make it easier. If you find an exploit, tweet us and we can alert Ubisoft and get it fixed before challenge mode release, which is an awesome thing because Ubisoft decided to do challenge mode a week later so that nobody's going to be able to exploit and get the 240 gear right away, and we can just knock that out and get it done and be ready to move on to challenge mode in the second half of the cycle. So that is awesome, and releasing challenge mode a week after is brilliant, and I just absolutely love that, seeing that they listened to the community over at Reddit and suggesting that they've made a mistake by not releasing the Falcon Lost challenge mode a week after before, so that bugs and glitches and all that stuff can get worked out. It's great that people will step up, give their ideas, and Massive has listened. Now, let's go ahead and move on from that. We'll discuss the 75% damage mitigation. I was originally against this, but like many people alerted me to the fact we already have 75% damage mitigation in the game, so what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is, for me, is it really 75%? I'm not 100% sure it is, but I will reserve judgment until we see what happens when they go ahead and boost that up. It could make a difference, but I don't really know. Most people, once the Reckless chest is patched, may move away from using it, since the 10% damage increase will make them more vulnerable to attacks in the Dark Zone, less likely to survive, stuff like that. Full-on DPS classes will continue to run the Savage and Reckless perks on their gloves and their chest piece, most likely, and we'll really need to see this in action as it unfolds. However, I'm still skeptical on their reasoning being more powerful weapons, so they don't say anything in the actual trailer or in anything that they displayed that there's going to be new powerful weapons. So I'm kind of curious, what are these new, more powerful weapons, that are going to be released? We all know that the damage of the weapon corresponds with your DPS numbers. So is it just the new set pieces bringing up the damage for weapons? So it's raising your DPS, and so more people will have higher DPS and higher damage output? Or is it something else? Is it new weapons? Will these new weapons be 214? Will they be 240? Will they have higher damage rates? Are the weapons in the game or new weapons not released yet? It will be interesting to see once they start dropping if they took the community's advice and put in named weapons that are actually better than the regular weapons. I would love to see a historian actually be put in the game right now. A historian. People have heard about it since its release, and nobody has ever gotten one or anything like that. It's a M1A, and it's just nobody has ever seen one yet, but we all know it's in the game because of the file dumps. So I would love to see a historian with balanced, brutal, and deadly with 175% headshot damage. Most likely that would be super OP, and but it would make the game intense, and people would love going after and getting this weapon. People run that incursion like nothing they'd ever seen. I would not, however, start getting my hopes up on anything of the sort. The 1.1 patch did promise exotic weapons, and we got the Warlord, a tier C weapon at best, and the Valkyrie, a tier D weapon. And It's just, after seeing that, it really gets your hopes lost as to, can they put in any new weapons into the game that will really turn the tide and make a difference? Now, let's go ahead and switch from weapons to gear. The new gear sets I don't feel are anything special outside of what was already released. We all know that they're going to be, very specialized towards certain ways of playstyle, and we all saw that the 1.1 gear sets were geared towards certain playstyles, but it really didn't change the way anybody played. Now, the new, I don't feel like it really, like I'm going to get something and I'm going to be like swapping it out right away. However, let's go ahead and rewind and talk about the Tactician's gear set. In my last video, I mentioned that the gear was worthless, and that's what people heard. A lot of people just heard that and that's it, and so I got a lot of messages saying, hey, it's not worthless, this is why. And what I meant to say, and I could have swore that I said it in the video, starting out, it's impossible to solo with this gear in the DZ or in an instance or in a mission. You're not running a challenge mode with this, because if you shoot a sticky bomb, anybody who's used a sticky bomb with a full tac set, with a full like 45,000 electronic score against a yellow named enemy with full armor knows that a sticky bomb it's just not going to do any damage. And with the lower DPS and the lower health, you're going to find yourself picking yourself up a lot more and doing that sort of stuff. Now, that's not to say that it's worthless. Now, after, especially with the gear that I've ran, and I've had my gear for a long time, and I've reiterated on it over and over and over again, and I just keep getting better and better and better at it, and that's what the Tactician's gear really needs. I'm at the very first starting stages of Tactician's gear, and I really am just working on building it up, bringing in new weapons, bringing in new perks, bringing in, just different stuff that makes it better. And I'm going to tell you one of the secrets that one of my friends runs with it. So let's just go ahead and, so now with some adjustments and the right combination of talents and perks, you can get this gear to OP levels. The Tactician's gear can just be super OP, where agents just wreck people. And you're not wrecking a named yellow enemy or anything like that. Let's just get that out of the way. There's no way you're wrecking that enemy. You might be able to take down all of his armor or something like that with a sticky bomb and the rolling mine, but that's probably not going to happen. So, but in the DZ, you can kill agents, no problem. There is no level of health that an agent has that a full Tactician's gear that is kitted out can really take down. So solo players will have a hard time with this gear, but in a group, it's going to be one of the most powerful gear sets that people will come up with, bar none. I'm telling you this because it is an awesome gear set, especially true when you have 4 agents running tac gear, or 3 agents or 2 agents in the gear running full tac gear with max electronics. And here's the key. If you have a Caduceus or whatever it's called, the Caduceus can really help help this set recharge your already supercharging fast skill sets. So if you have a Caduceus and you're running the Tactician's gear, just know I think you're OP. So it's nothing against you. I just think that's an awesome combination. I have a friend that runs it, and he even tells me, he's like, this is just insane how fast everything recharges. So I'll be interested to see what the new gear sets will bring. So, all right. So those are the topics that I'm covering for my second thought, and I have a few final thoughts that I'm hoping that will change and or refine the recalibration station in 1.2. So I'm hoping that Ubisoft or Massive has looked at the recalibration of items, and with the new armor mitigation, they allow us to recalibrate weapons. We have already calibrated, or it would just be a nice change to allow us to spend our Phoenix credits on making a reroll. And I'm not talking about reroll a stat, but like pay 500 Phoenix credits to unlock the whole set again and choose a new one instead of just picking that one. So you can pick, your stamina and reroll your stamina once or twice or whatever it is, and be able to pick that, and then pay 500 Phoenix credits and be able to pick a new stat instead of, the stamina one that you just picked. So that's just my idea for it. They're not doing it. I'm just saying that would be awesome if they did it, because especially with the armor mitigation, a lot of people out there are already locked in on their sets, and they already have their sets locked in. So they're going to want to re-roll that and try and get, a higher armor class. So now one last item, I figured out why they changed the recalibration from Phoenix credits to regular credits. And it was once again to slow down the progression of crafting. And they already did a number on crafting changes, making the materials just absolutely ridiculous to farm. And many of us missed this one point, and it's amazing that we missed it, and I haven't seen anybody else talking about it, but they made it so that instead of breaking down gear for crafting materials, we would have to choose to either break it down for crafting material or break it down for credits, because everything's so expensive to re-roll and recalibrate. So if we wanted to recalibrate, we needed to use regular credits. And if you ran out and wanted to recalibrate, you had to make the sacrificial choice of, do I want the crafting materials or do I want the credits for it? And it's pretty sneaky of Ubisoft and Massive to come up with that and not kind of put that into their crafting changes and alert people that, well, it's going to be a time sink. And that's just, it's not 100% sure, but I'm pretty, 100% sure on my end. I haven't looked at any file data dumps, or, Ubisoft hasn't come out and announced that this is what they've done. But that's pretty much, I can be a detective here. You don't need Scooby-Doo to figure out that mystery. So that's my time. Thank you again for watching, and for those people leaving comments and helping to make Mountie Carl change his mind about certain issues. I am, after all, willing to listen to reason and adjust my opinion by listening to the facts of each person's opinion. I may, may not always change my mind, but I take all of the comments into consideration when I'm making this video, and I am happy to make a rebuttal when I do. So thank you for all those people making comments, disagreeing with me. I'm happy to take your comments and questions into consideration when I make future videos, and just kind of thinking about everything, because I am one person, and when I take a look at other people's opinions and stuff, I can actually see the validity of them and take them into account when I do. It's just, human nature and how things work. Anyways, leave your comments down below, leave a like if you enjoyed this video. I am Mountie Carl, and you've been watching a Let's Talk on The Division on Gun Brothers Gaming. Agent out.